hope you enjoyed your break. You were able to visit with exhibitors and grab some lunch. Now we want to go into the section of the conference that we all look forward to, the Dennis Stone Award. The founders of BioNorth Texas, Kay Tiemann, Chris Komish, and David Foster, created the organization for the purpose of building a robust life sciences community. One of their earliest dreams was to create a conference in North Texas similar to the JPM conference in San Francisco. That was the humble beginnings of the IC3 conference. They also thought it important that the organization recognize individuals who have significantly contributed to the growth of the industry in North Texas, and recognized Phil Ralston as the Helix Award recipient at the 2015 IC3 conference. In 2016, the Helix Award recipient was Dr. Dennis K. Stone, a recognized leader dedicated to the growth of the life sciences in North Texas. In 2017, shortly before his passing, the board of directors decided to rename the award to the Dennis K. Stone Life Science Achievement Award. We all remain grateful to Dr. Stone. His contribution to the life science community in North Texas helped lay the foundation of this ever-growing, ever-successful life sciences community. The Dennis K. Stone Life Science Achievement Award is given to an individual who has made a significant contribution to the growth of the life science industry in North Texas. It is a prestigious award as it represents recognitions by the community. The community nominates recipients each year, and through a rigorous review and selection process by the BioNorth Texas Board of Directors, a recipient is selected. This year's award is sponsored by the Marsh McClellan Agency, a partner of BioNorth Texas, who works with our member companies to reduce the cost of health insurance and HR expenses. Although COVID restricts us from the traditional process of passing along the award, the 2019 recipient, Paul Dorman, has recorded a few thoughts. Let's watch this video from Paul.
Hello, I'm Paul Dorman, and I'm here as the recipient of the 2019 Dennis K. Stone Award, for which I once again want to thank BioNorth Texas. In order to grow a robust life science community in North Texas, we need our North Texas resources. The research centers, the investors, the laboratories, incubators, everyone to work together. As is always the case within a community, they are superstars. The Dennis K. Stone Award is presented to an individual who has positively affected quality of life by raising awareness and funds for life science research, who has impacted innovation to bring discoveries to commercial relevance, and who has given back to their community and those in the scientific field as a supporter, a mentor, a leader, or educator. I am here today to present the 2020 Dennis K. Stone Award to one such superstar. Dr. Hubert Zajicek has been an influencer in all areas of life science community in North Texas. This includes being NIH postdoctoral fellow at UT Southwestern, and then later faculty member. For his work at NTEC, to which led as managing director. While at NTEC, he saw the gaps in the life science ecosystem, and along with others, he co-founded this organization which he runs today. This year, with the COVID-19 pandemic, he created Health Hacking Crisis Network, a nonprofit rapid reaction group of multidisciplinary professionals that work to address shortages or difficulties in dealing with COVID-19. Hubert, on behalf of the 3,000 plus members in the BioNorth Texas community, the board of directors, and the many, many individuals whose quality of life has gotten better due to your efforts, directly and indirectly, I present the 2020 Dennis K. Stone Award. Congratulations.
Hubert, on behalf of the life sciences community in North Texas and the board of directors of BioNorth Texas, We're grateful for your contributions to the growth of the life sciences in North Texas and hereby recognize you as the 2020 Dennis K. Stone Life Science Achievement Award recipient. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, all right. First of all, thanks to you, Paul Dorman, for your introduction and your kind words. It's humbling to be in the presence of such accomplished people like yourself, and of course, Darlene Ryan, Lyda Hill, Phil Ralston, and needless to say, Dennis Stone. Thank you also the Bio North Texas Board of Directors and Committee for selecting me for this award, and you, Jorge, for leading the charge here at Bio North Texas. This award, and we've heard this a couple of times here now, is named after Dennis Stone, and I knew him as a professor at UT Southwestern. He was chief of the Division of Molecular Transport, and he was best known for the incredible impact he has had on the technology commercialization in Texas and beyond. RIATA and Remeditex being two of the organizations he had a very significant impact on. Like Paul said, the Dennis Stone Award is presented to individuals that positively affect the quality of life by raising awareness and funds in life science research, impacting innovation to bring discovery and commercialization, and also who give back to the community and to those in the scientific field as a supporter, mentor, leader, and educator. The recognition is especially touching to me, as Dennis Stone was one of the first people with whom I discussed a career move out of academia while I was still on faculty at UT Southwestern. As a young researcher, he took time out of his day to meet with me, somebody who was deliberating what to do next, and ultimately, through his support of time and my decision to move out of academia, I was in a position to receive this award today and find my true calling. Since I was given a few minutes here to make some remarks, I would like to use that time to show you how any one of you who are listening today can make a difference and build an ecosystem that is always that, an ecosystem of many parts working together. In that respect, I can mention one of my favorite books, The Rainforest by Greg Horowitz, who I've had the fortune to meet a few years ago at South by Southwest. He describes an ecosystem and how ecosystems overlap, and he says that these connect through something called nodes. So just like in a rainforest, each group needs the other. So for instance, if you were to fell a tree, then too much light would hit the ground and the moss that supported the tree would die. So it's an interplay of many, many different factors and components, each having its importance. In this analogy, the nodes connect things within the rainforest, and any one of these recipients that preceded me here today are such important nodes in the rainforest. The recipients, I would call also the various groups that interact with each other in the process tribes. And that means, in a rainforest analogy, and I'm stretching it here a little bit, it would be the areas that connect with each other that are adjacent. So we have tribes of areas that interact, and nodes, think of it as the tree, for instance, in the forest, that connect many of these things together. So everyone has a tribe, and I'll lead you through some examples here, and hopefully you find an analogy in your own life and actionable steps that you can take. So the first tribe every one of us is part of is our own family. Mine, growing up in Austria, was always nourishing and supportive. I enjoyed the unconditional support of my loving parents, who, in this regard, I was much more lucky than many others because of the nourishment I got. After medical school, arrived here in the United States. I'm an immigrant, came here with $2,000 in my pocket and an opportunity to work a job in research. I knew no one except my wife, and she has been my staunchest supporter and allowed me to pursue all the crazy projects and avenues that I've taken throughout. And with her came a wonderful family who treated me like their own son. But on the life science side, this node knew no one. As a Christian, I knew that God had a plan for my life, but it would take me many years before I'd rely on that promise fully. Learning that the walls you run into in life are also known by another name, and that is opportunity. I know at the time when things happen, it is hard not to react to such an opportunity because they're better known as a problem, an obstacle, a misfortune. But with the knowledge of God's promise, there's nothing you can't overcome. I spent many years in scientific research, and I loved all the different cultures and areas it exposed me to. And I had the support of a boss and a mentor who let me pursue a variety of directions, always industrious, with different projects. That mentor was Moshe Levy, a nephrologist who is now Dean of Research at Georgetown University. So this UT Southwestern and the research involvement that I had for many, many years is my research tribe, if you will. I still know so many people all over the world that are in research because of that time that I spent there. So my takeaway for me is that whatever job you're in, there are interesting people all around you. Force yourself to get to know them. And you can start with baby steps. Take a lunch meeting with someone in another department. But at this point, I still didn't have any network on the business side. I had started to develop an interest in business, and I just didn't know what to do with that. And that is when I met Dennis Stone, and with his encouragement, ended up in agreeing or deciding on a career in business, not really knowing which exact direction that would take me. I decided on pursuing an MBA at SMU, took the professional program, which is the evening and weekend program, but exposes you to the full-time program, just crunched into a smaller time frame. To name all the activities I engaged in there would be too long, so I can only mention a few. I took advantage of every opportunity I got there, and I would say I got my money's worth. And for all of you who know or who are parents of SMU students, know that means a lot because it's not cheap. So I made sure I got my money's worth. I participated in the mentoring program as a mentee. Now I'm a mentor in that program. I participated in this. I took the soft skill classes called business leadership classes. I participated in a business plan competition, and I did not win. I know you guys who won, who beat me out for first place. But now I'm a judge in the business plan competition and a supporter and sponsor of the SMU's business plan competition. I also ran the student health care club, and I was the oldest guy for sure to run any student club because I was in my 30s. I still know many of my professors at SMU, and I'm still in touch with many of them. So my take home here from this segment is whatever your station in life is, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this in a formal way like I did here, but challenge yourself to keep learning, and you will grow, and you will continue to build your own node. I then volunteered at a budding regional incubator called North Texas Enterprise Center for Medical Technology. No, I can't take credit for this wonderful name. It's better known as NTech, a little bit easier to pronounce and say, and it was based in Frisco. Just about when I had decided to leave academia, and I had volunteered there as an advisor, a door opened there, and I ended up joining the incubator that I ended up helping build for 6 years. The person that gave me a shot at it was Larry Calton, who's still a major connector of people here in Dallas. But where did I run into Larry? Right when he needed a second in command. It was a networking event at the Entrepreneurs Foundation of North Texas, which is part of the Communities Foundation of North Texas. And Pam Gerber ran that. She's still awesome, by the way. Pam Gerber ran it, and it was a big networking event there. So again, my take home here is whatever you do, don't expect things in return. So I volunteered at NTech as an advisor, but it really had not crossed my mind that would be my career, or this would be something I would go into. I promise you good things will happen. It won't always be that linear. But you can't, here's the challenge, you can't wait around. You have to seek opportunities to meet others, explore the rainforest, and meet people. So not just when you need it, you need to build that ahead of time. So now at NTech, I was given too many opportunities to count them all. We built a 50,000 square foot building with 10,000 square feet of labs, 80 offices, and so on and so forth. And we started a healthcare investment conference, became the biggest of its kind in the Southwest. By the way, I just resurrected that this year again during COVID. I continued to build an advisor network that was able to help many startups. We housed many such startups and were able to attract startups from all over the world for our conference. We started groups of all kinds. But for instance, one I remember vividly was a group for people who had just been recently laid off during the 2008 crash. But we had other interest groups as well, and it was really stimulating to have so many different interests in one building and one organization. And it also started to create a focus on mobile health, which was a personal interest of mine. I met so many people, and it was truly amazing to build a network. For the first time, I was in a node position, and I started building in earnest. I took many, many meetings with some of the most interesting people. I learned from some great people, like Phil Ralston, who served as an advisor at NTech. I got to interact with Darlene Boudreau, who ran Tech for Earth. I met Lyda Hill, for instance, when one of our startups was pitching her. All three remarkable people, all three prior winners of this award. My take home here is that whatever position you're in, seek to meet people who can help the mission of your company. And guess what? If you leave or circumstances changes, that connection will continue to help build whatever you started at the company you were at, but it can also travel with you. So you're a traveling rainforest now. Needless to say, the most significant transmission I got to make was when I left NTech to start Health Wildcatters. It was a big blessing. There are two partners that I still have today who had the idea to do this, and that is Carl Soderstrom and Dr. Clay Heighton. Together with Gabriella Draney and myself, we started it. Now we also have J.R. Garcia and Dr. Harshal Broker as partners. Health Wildcatters today is recognized as a top accelerator in healthcare around the world, consistently ranking the top 3 to 5 based on startup success. Of course, when we started, we were not known. Many great startups decided to join us in year one. We were very fortunate that they gave us the benefit of the doubt. Michael Walsh of CareLoop, for instance, or Scott Smith of Socrates are just a couple. They joined us in year one when there was zero track record. We had some true backers that are angel investors that helped us back our first fund. We had trusted sponsors who decided to back an unproven accelerator in the first year. Polsinelli is among those, and under John Henderson's leadership, he continues to have touched pretty much anything around town and help build our ecosystem. This year, we got to deliver our first NASDAQ IPO as part of one of our portfolio companies to our community. Maybe as a validation that these things can happen here in Texas, and that these things will continue to happen. Health Wildcatters added the element of direct investment to what I was doing before, and it is a lot more fun that way, by the way. It also taught me another lesson. I thought I didn't know any big number of investors, but it turned out I was wrong. People I did not know who were investors started showing up to be among our first financial backers. People I'd helped out without knowing they were investors now helped me build this small investment fund. Of course, my anchors were my partners, Carl and Clay, who are investors and who also knew a lot of investors themselves. So I owe them the biggest thanks. Most of you know me in the context of Health Wildcatters because it's been 7 years. So over the last 7 years, we've accelerated almost 80 startup companies from 30 states and 3 countries. They went on to raise over $100 million over that period of time. Ultimately, what connects us all is that we strive to further the healthcare and improve the lives of the people around us. It is the healthcare entrepreneur, the scientist, the service provider, the investor. We're helping to create something that is much bigger than all of us. I'd like to shed light at all the different groups. All the different groups would be too much, but at some of the different groups that played a role in what I was doing over the years, and hopefully you can find your own flavor in those examples. The first one is going to be hard to match, by the way. The first one is, like I said earlier, I'm from Austria. Hi to all my fellow Austrians, all 2 of you in North Texas. But Austria is about the size of North Texas, and is roughly has the same population of North Texas and the same GDP of North Texas, so 8 million people roughly. I co-founded a group, and now hold it, it's riveting, Austrian Scientists in North America. So, and I was still a scientist at the time. So when you think about it, this is a very esoteric type of enterprise, and why would I mention this here? I mean, it seems like, okay, have fun with your little thing and let's move on. But the thing is, this little group over 20 years grew to include more than 2,000 scientists, physicians, specialists in research, not just all over the United States, but all over the world. Many of them I now call friends. I ended up becoming president of that organization as well, and now have the benefit of connecting or being able to call upon people in all aspects of research that you could possibly imagine. So my request of you is join an organization that connects you to your own heritage or professional interest. It was great for me. It was also a lot of fun, and I think you could find such a group. And if you can't find it, by the way, you've always got option 2, and that is start it yourself. A group I did not found, because it's been in Dallas for over a century, is the Rotary Club of Dallas. I joined the Rotary Club of Dallas a few years ago, and I can't tell you how many great people I've met in that organization and through that organization. It is a philanthropic organization built around core values that I'm sure all of you could share with me. But we also got to work on many cool projects, and projects I got to be involved in as part of that group that touch many lives in North Texas. I now get to chair many of such little projects that our Rotary Club does. So my call out to you is find your charity. Find an organization you want to help, and just do it. You don't have to be the leader. You just join it and help. And I promise you it will be rewarding, and I promise you that you will not regret it. A third group, and that I would like to mention is called Leadership Dallas, and it is an organization that's selective. About 40 or so people a year get picked to be part of this group and get to know Dallas in this case. This organization exists all over the country. Dallas in this case, and what it takes to run a city. So my call to you would be find a leadership organization that you can connect with others in. And you will do things in the community that that will be unmatched. So you'll meet leaders that help you grow, and you will meet leaders that do good stuff in the community. A fourth group, and I promise we'll be through soon here, is another esoteric one that might be a little bit easier to understand. It combines entrepreneurship and medicine. It's called the Society of Physician Entrepreneurs, the Dallas chapter, which I got to found, half dozen years ago. The context, of course, is connecting your professional background to something else, in this case, medicine and entrepreneurship. But it may be something else for you. Maybe it is that you yourself can't find the combination of the two things you're interested in. Maybe it's biomedical engineering and business, or it is, you name it. Start. If you can't find that group, start it. Meetup is easy. You can do it yourself. You can find people that are interested in the same things you are, and you can fill a gap and create value. Lastly, I would like to mention a group that Paul referred to earlier, and that is the Health Hacking Crisis Network. This is an organization I started in the spring. It is now a 501c3 organization, nonprofit, and it created a rapid reaction force to deal with any possible healthcare need that could emerge because of the COVID-19 issue. This was a little different. In this case, I was on vacation on the Gulf Coast when the lockdown happened, and it hit home. I saw it as my responsibility to act and create avenues to take action in case things got worse in our region. We created a wonderful group of over 500 people who volunteered their time and talent to create solutions. for our fellow Texans and others. Whether it was masks or shields or more ambitious projects like creating ventilators, in case it came down to that, lots of solutions were created and many more were discussed. It was heartening to see so many talented community members come together. So my call out to you on this is, when your community needs you, you will know what to do. If you don't, hopefully one of those leaders you connected with, those nodes, will be there for you. So don't do all these things at once, but do get on your way to network and getting to know people, volunteer, show up at events, mentor a student, participate in a hackathon. All these experiences will enrich you and create a network where you eventually be a node in that rainforest, serving an important role in making it all happen. So whatever you may think about persons like me who get fancy awards, know this: none of us got these for the things we did, but rather for the things we did together and helped by many, many other people. It is a testament to the many, many who each played their role in making something bigger happen than what each of us can create on our own. It is an ecosystem. You're here today. You've made the first step. You're part of the rainforest. Thank you.